Remember those two videos I did where I suggested the DC Extended Universe movies should have done a Crime Syndicate, Justice Lords, Injustice Gods Among Us type thing to fit Zack Snyder's vision for these characters? Here I am for part 3. Just like part 2, I'm not really following the actual release order for these movies. So here we go. Our next movie would be Shazam. We've already introduced Billy Batson in the Titans series as the dispatcher for an underground resistance movement that sees the Syndicate working with the US government as a potential threat. Then they found out in the Titans series there's a secret organization within the US government, Hive, that is playing everyone against each other for their own purposes. Our resistance movement is spread pretty thin, investigating possible Hive activity. Several agents have probably been killed by Hive operatives who know of the resistance and what they are up to. Billy, even though he's young, will be going out on missions because there's nobody he can send to do this stuff. Billy is investigating Dr. Sivana, who I think I already mentioned is working with Amanda Waller back in my first video in this alternate world. I love Mark Strong, but he is the last person I would cast as Dr. Sivana. Sivana's supposed to be short and not exactly handsome, and Mark Strong is a total hunk. He could probably pick me up and throw me into the sun if he wanted to. Sivana being a physical match for Captain Marvel doesn't make much sense to me because traditionally he's always short and scrawny, but he uses his mind against the Captain. I get it, the Shazam movie was going off the New 52 designs of Sivana where he doesn't look so cartoony, but I like cartoony Sivana. I think that's a superior look and concept for the character over what he is now. Nothing against the actors I would choose, I hope they're not watching this video, but I would go with Gilbert Gottfried or Wallace Shawn to play Sivana. Guys who probably couldn't throw a punch but could be up to no good in the mad science department. Unbeknownst to Waller, Sivana is a part of Hive, and Billy is hoping to either sabotage what he's working on or see if he can learn something about his experiment so the resistance can get a leg up on their enemies. Sivana isn't sure what he's working on. He's been hearing voices, giving him advice on equations and problems he's been struggling with, and it's leading to him entering a higher plane of reality. The voices he's hearing come from the gods of old: Zeus, Atlas, Mercury, although Mercury was a Roman god and these others were Greek, but let's ignore that for now. The gods have been watching Earth and are none too pleased with the direction things have been going. They didn't like that Diana escaped imprisonment at Themyscira, and they certainly don't like her and Ultraman scheming to take over the world. Why would they care? The gods haven't been active on Earth for centuries. Who cares if the Syndicate takes over? This can be kind of a Tower of Babel thing, not the early 2000s Justice League story, the Bible story. The gods are afraid of what these superhumans will be capable of if they aren't put in their place. They've been speaking to Sivana. You can enter into this other dimension. Whoopsie, you just released our champion from centuries ago, Black Adam. The gods hope Black Adam can assess what's going on here and open up a can on the Syndicate, and balance can more or less be restored. Sivana releases Black Adam, offers Black Adam a chance to join Hive if he helps them remove the Syndicate. Black Adam is so powerful, he has no reason to join Hive, so he's out of there. Billy Batson was spying on this whole thing, and this portal to another dimension has shown Billy things no other mortal has seen. While Sivana was giving his sales pitch to Black Adam, Billy was having a mental conversation with the wizard known as Shazam. Shazam used to be the go-between for gods and their champion. When Black Adam went rogue and used his powers to take over his home nation of Kahndaq, the wizard sacrificed his own freedom to imprison Black Adam. That was when the gods thought, maybe we don't need a champion if they're possibly going to turn out like this guy. With the gods arranging for Black Adam to be released, the wizard is strongly against their judgment. He believes Black Adam cannot be controlled and is just as dangerous as the Syndicate. Once Sivana opened the portal, the wizard reached out to the nearest mind he could find. What luck! He finds a pure soul who can stop Black Adam. He would himself, but holding Black Adam at bay for centuries has temporarily weakened him. He has to use what power he has to turn Billy into his own champion against the will of the gods. Billy struggles with his abilities. He fights Black Adam, gets beaten, returns to Resistance HQ, tail between his legs. He can meet one of the new volunteers, a kid named Freddie Freeman, who isn't much use in the field because of his disability, but wants to help out behind the scenes, a lot like Billy. Billy was part of a field mission not too long ago where he and his group helped save Freddie and his family, so Freddie is inspired by Billy's heroics. Billy realizes he can still be a hero, even in the face of impossible odds. While all this is going on, Black Adam went through whoever was in charge of Kahndaq, tore him to pieces. The gods see, oh yeah, we can't control him, this was a bad idea, and they see Billy is the kind of champion they want. Billy goes back for a round 2 with Black Adam, this time with the blessing of the gods, who don't remove Black Adam's abilities. Once you've been blessed by the gods, that can't be undone, but they do significantly depower him, and Black Adam is imprisoned once again. The gods allow Billy to keep the powers the wizard gave him. When you do a Black Adam solo movie, now that the means to open his prison have been achieved by one mortal, it can be done again. And with Black Adam depowered, he won't immediately have a rematch with Billy. You would have a chance to do something a little different. I get all the complications with calling Billy Captain Marvel. That's not going to fly in this day and age with Marvel Comics, and at least least 3 other Captain Marvels at that company. So don't call him Captain Marvel. Instead, if he saves someone and they ask what his name is, he can say, Captain Thunder? He hasn't given it much thought, and he says the first thing that comes to mind. Captain Thunder was his name in the Flashpoint universe, and that sounds like something a kid would come up with. But if you want to have fun with it, since he yells Shazam to transform, there's a misunderstanding from the general public that that's his name, and he's constantly trying to correct people, but nobody listens. That'd be better than confusing audiences by calling him Shazam when that name is already taken by a character in this very movie. Next is Justice League 2. Ultraman and Superwoman are very eager to take over the country because they genuinely believe things would be better for everyone if they did. Owlman has convinced them not to do anything rash. They don't have the experience needed to run a country. Let's try to meet the current administration halfway and work with them, and when we're ready, we can move in and take over. But since Owlman was nearly killed by a hired gun sent by Hive, he and Amanda Waller have been working together to figure out who is behind the assassination of the Atlantean Queen and Dr. Sivana's recent slip into kind of insanity as he was working on something that none of Waller's other science people seem to understand. Waller and Owlman think that's probably connected too. Ultraman and Diana think Owlman is scheming with Waller against them. Maybe he's afraid they will discard him once he proves useless to their plans. For all they know, he was responsible for the disappearance of the Flash. Owlman doesn't know it, but Ultraman and Superwoman are making plans to kick in the White House's front door and take charge. The Syndicate has taken in Arthur Curry after the events of the Aquaman movie. They met him while he was dealing with some ocean-based catastrophe. Even though he's banished from Atlantis, he still cares about his people, and an oil spill is something he would feel obligated to deal with. Since he's stronger than the average bear, and the Syndicate's numbers aren't what they would want it to be for their plans, they brought him aboard in between movies. While Arthur isn't as gung-ho to take over the country as Clark and Diana, they convince him this is the right move by showing him some of the stuff they've been trying to deal with. Pollution's still running rampant, and everybody being pretty non-motivated to do anything about it gets Aquaman riled up enough to be on board with their plans. Diana built a Purple Ray device. The Purple Ray is a thing the Amazons use to heal their wounded and sick, and since Diana and Clark want to set up a paradise, with them in charge, a first step is getting rid of disease. This would go a long way toward making the general public be a little more okay with the Syndicate if they're genuinely helping them. When it becomes clear Owlman was at least right that Diana and Clark cannot hold a country together by themselves, lending out the Purple Ray to the military to use on their soldiers in battle would probably get them on the Syndicate side in the event of a coup. Owlman has made some progress on his investigation into Hive. He's been trying to flush out any higher-ups he can find to prevent any other attacks, but he's keeping this investigation away from his allies in the Syndicate. If they found out, they would want to move forward against the government, but he doesn't believe that they're ready for that yet. Dr. Sivana is trying to reopen the portal that released Black Adam. Think Lex Luthor in Justice League Unlimited. He's tasted otherworldly power and he wants it back, but his mere mortal mind can't remember how to open the portal. He thinks he's cracked it, but he accidentally opens up a different dimension, the Phantom Zone. Out comes Doomsday, a Kryptonian weapon used to eliminate other species on Krypton. Like in the regular DC universe, Doomsday adapts to attacks and gets stronger, making him the perfect weapon. Doomsday is destroying all kinds of stuff. The Syndicate go to stop him. Arthur, Diana, and Clark are all pretty strong, so they'll be keeping Doomsday away from civilians, while Owlman will be at a distance using long-range weapons but to little effect. Captain Thunder and the other Titans show up too. Doomsday is a much bigger threat than the Syndicate, so they put away their issues with the Syndicate and work with them. But they are no match for a Kryptonian superweapon, and they get obliterated. In the comics, speedsters can lend and take speed, so in a Hail Mary, Kid Flash tries to boost Ultraman's speed, but gets punched by Doomsday in the process. He doesn't die, but he's paralyzed. Wonder Woman doesn't have her Purple Ray with her, so he's out for the count. He can recover from this in later appearances, but he's done right now. Starfire and Raven don't get injured as badly as Kid Flash, but they aren't in the same weight class as the Syndicate, so they don't fare too well. And Captain Thunder, unfortunately, makes things worse. He uses his lightning against Doomsday, and at first, it works great. Much like Superman, who is weak against magic, this version of Doomsday is as well, since magic has never been used against him. But he adapts, so now Captain Thunder is useless against him, and he gets punched across the city. The Syndicate figures out the monster is Kryptonian, and with that, Ultraman has an idea. While Cyborg, Diana, and Arthur try their best to hold back Doomsday, Ultraman runs off and grabs the motherboard for the Brain Interactive Construct, which he saved in the Batman vs. Superman movie. Using Brainiac, Ultraman is able to reopen the Phantom Zone and suck Doomsday back inside. Everyone is bruised up a little, but other than Kid Flash's paralysis, everyone is pretty much okay. Owlman says he plotted the creature's path, and it leads back to the lab of Dr. Sivana, so it's likely he had something to do with this. That's all Ultraman needed to hear. As far as he knows, this was an attempt by Owlman's buddies to kill him. Without warning, Ultraman reaches out and crushes Owlman's spine, shocking everyone, even Diana and Arthur. Ultraman tells Owlman he should have chosen his friends a little better, and he'll be coming for them next. Even though they've just been through heck, what's left of the Titans charge at the Syndicate, but with Diana and Arthur having composed themselves, they rush to Ultraman's side to defend him. But there's no need, because Ultraman throws Starfire and Raven into the Phantom Zone. Why not Cyborg? Because Ultraman attaches the Brain Interactive Construct motherboard to Cyborg, and the reprogrammed Brainiac takes control of Cyborg's body. Victor Stone is no longer in the driver's seat, and now Brainiac, via Cyborg's body, is on the Syndicate's side. The rest of the movie would be the Syndicate taking over the country. Amanda Waller has a kryptonite bomb her people made sometime after the Suicide Squad movie, and she plans to use it against Ultraman, but he lasers her arm off before she can pull the trigger. He doesn't kill Waller because he wants her to see the Syndicate will do a better job of running the country than her superiors have. The Syndicate throw her in prison and throw away the key. As everyone in the country either falls in line or decides they're going to become revolutionaries against the new regime, we will cut to Resistance headquarters, where medics are tending to Kid Flash's wounds, and Owlman is there too. With most of the heavy hitters of the Resistance taken out, Billy sees that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, so Owlman might be their best bet against the Syndicate. But Owlman is not in the moral right. He was just as willing to take over the country as his teammates were. He just wanted to put together a strategy and remove some enemies before they did. So Billy makes it clear once the Syndicate is removed from power and new leaders are elected, Owlman will stand trial for his part in the Syndicate's rise to power. Owlman tentatively agrees, though he's putting together plans to avoid that when the time comes. We end with Ultraman and Diana getting kissy with each other, celebrating a job well done, but knowing they've got a lot of work cut out for them if they want this paradise to stick. Owlman lays down some files for Billy. It's the Doom Patrol, who Owlman discovered when he was looking into Hive. They've been fighting the same fight the Resistance has, but they haven't crossed paths yet. We'll need their help if we're going to win this, Owlman says. I don't have extensive notes for second seasons on Titans and Doom Patrol, but since the Titans team fell apart, Kid Flash, on the mend, will train new recruits who have joined the Resistance since the Syndicate took over. Characters like Beast Boy, Lilith Clay, Hawk, and Dove join the team, with the big season goal to find some way to free their teammates from the Phantom Zone, and if they find out Victor didn't join the Syndicate willingly, get him back in control of his body, though they won't succeed there. When they rescue Starfire and Raven, they also free someone in the Phantom Zone who wasn't a Kryptonian criminal, Val Zod, the teenage son of General Drew Zod. The good general put his wife and son in the Phantom Zone to protect them in case the High Council wouldn't listen to Jor-El's warnings and they would be safe from planetary destruction. This can be a roundabout way of getting a version of Superboy into your Titans team, though it would take years for him to absorb enough sunlight to be as powerful as Ultraman is now. Doom Patrol, it might be on the nose, but Owlman will become the new wheelchair-bound leader this team doesn't like. Now that Hive has either been killed or has been given the option of joining the Syndicate, the Doom Patrol's goals are now more directed at the Syndicate, much like the Titans series. Owlman sends the team on missions to locate people or items that can be used against the Syndicate. Special weapons, metahumans we haven't seen in this universe yet, that would be their goal. They run into threats along the way that have nothing to do with the Syndicate, so they fight that stuff too. Up next is Birds of Prey. There's one of two ways you could go. An actual Birds of Prey team with Huntress, Black Canary, and Oracle allied with the Syndicate. These characters have been active for a little while now, we just haven't seen them yet. But with the Syndicate in control of the country now, and Owlman underground, Gotham City has been abandoned, so the Syndicate deputizes these three to dish out extreme justice to keep Gotham safe. Barbara Gordon is a protagonist, since we've already established her father was a corrupt cop in this universe. Is she working with the Syndicate with the promise that her father stays safe and keeps his old job in the new regime? Or did the Gordon family realize they could abandon their corrupt lifestyle and secretly join the Resistance, in which case Barbara would be spying on the Syndicate and using her digital know-how to collect information for the underground? That might be fun, but I think it would be neat to focus on a group who is on the Syndicate's side. Or, since the Suicide Squad movie we got in real life made Harley Quinn quite the popular character, the higher-ups wanted her to be a central character in the Birds of Prey movie. I don't mind giving Harley her own spin-off story, or giving the Birds of Prey their own movie, but trying to do both was really weird to me. If you go the Harley Quinn route, you team her up with Batman rogues like Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Roxy Rocket. These guys at first act like nothing's changed, but with the Syndicate in charge, crime is a lot more dangerous, so they realize they can either sell out and offer their services to the Syndicate in some capacity, or join the Resistance, hoping they can return to their life of crime after the world is saved. If they're working with the Resistance, this would be a heist movie, since Catwoman is a pretty good thief, but she needs backup for the magnitude of this job, which would be stealing the kryptonite payload from Amanda Waller's kryptonite bomb she nearly detonated in Justice League 2. Ultraman could not find it because of lead shielding, so it's still somewhere where it would have done some damage if it had gone off. These guys need to steal it for the Resistance to use as a last resort, and they encounter various obstacles along the way. Either of these would be fine, but I would prefer the Birds of Prey as operatives of the Syndicate, as it would be important to show both sides of this Civil War evenly as you move forward. And that's it for this video. Originally, this was going to be about twice as long as it is, but I did not want to die trying to edit a 40-something minute video, so we will see more of this alternate world sometime in the future. Until then, I'll be doing other videos, which I encourage you to check out, and until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. Catch you later.